my god. You're so awesome, Lawrence Lim.
It's Lawrence Lim with the W.
So one Sunday, while counting the offering, the pastor of a small church noticed a pink envelope containing $1,000. It happened again the next week, and again the next. Finally, curious, he watched the collection plate and spotted an elderly woman placing the pink envelope. Week after week, the same routine. Overcome by curiosity, the pastor approached her and said, "Miss, I couldn't help but notice you give $1,000 every week. That's so generous." She smiled and said, "Every week my son sends me money, and I give some to the church." He replied, "That's wonderful, but $1,000 is a lot. Are you sure you can afford it? How much does your son send you?" $10,000 a week, she answered. Amazed, the pastor said, "Your son must be very successful." "What does he do?" She answered proudly, "He's a veterinarian." The pastor nodded. "That's an honorable profession, but I didn't realize they made that much money. Where does he practice?" With a twinkle in her eye, she replied, "In Nevada. He has 2 cathhouses, one in Las Vegas and one in Reno." So a salesman was traveling through the countryside, selling insect repellent. He came to a farmhouse and tried his pitch on the farmer. "Sir, my bug spray is so good you will never be bitten again. I guarantee it." The farmer was dubious. "Young man, I'll make you a proposition. I'll tie you out in my cornfield buck naked, covered with that bug spray. If there is not a single bite on you come morning, I'll buy a whole case from you." The salesman was delighted. They went to the field and he stripped. The farmer sprayed him thoroughly with the bug spray and tied him to a stake. And back to the house went the farmer. The next morning, the farmer and his family trooped out to the cornfield. Sure enough, the salesman was there, hanging in his bonds, not a single bite on him. Yet he was a total wreck, pale, ghastly, haggard and drawn, but not one bite on him. The farmer was perplexed. "Son," he said, "now, you don't have a bite on you, but you look like hell. What the devil happened?" The salesman looked up through bloodshot eyes and croaked, "For crying out loud, mister, doesn't that calf have a mother?" So a woman goes to the doctor and says, "Doc, my husband is an animal in the bedroom. He wants to make love 5, 6, 7 times a day. I love the man, and I love making love, but it's just too much. Can you help me?" The doctor replied, "Well, medically, I can't really think of anything, but theoretically, this might work. From now on, whenever he demands to make love, demand money. $10 in the kitchen, $30 in the living room, and $50 in the bedroom. The man isn't made of money. That should slow him down." She agrees and thanks the doctor. Excited, she goes home, ready to use his advice. That evening, while she's preparing dinner, her husband comes home. He doesn't even ask about dinner. He immediately sneaks up behind her, brushes against her, and grabs her. She turns to him and says, "Honey, I have a new rule regarding making love. From now on, I demand money for making love. $10 in the kitchen, $30 in the living room, and $50 in the bedroom." He looks at her and says, "Okay, I think you deserve that." "You do so much. No problem." He reaches for his wallet, finds a $50 bill, and hands it to his wife. She smiles and says, "All right, let's go up to the bedroom." The man says, "No, that's 5 times in the kitchen." So, two friends are talking one night. One says to the other, "You know what? I'm going to sell my house, buy a boat, take women out into the middle of the ocean, and tell them they either give me some or they're swimming to shore." After a few months, the friends get together again, and one asks the other how his plan worked out. The friend says, "Well, it was working out great. I sold my house, bought the boat, and the first week I had this beautiful blonde on it. I took her out to the middle of the ocean and told her she either gives me some or she's swimming back to shore, so she gives it up. Then, a couple of weeks later, I have this gorgeous brunette on the boat. I take her out to the middle of the ocean and tell her she either gives me some or she's swimming back to shore, so she gives it up. Then, a couple of weeks after that, I have this bomb-ass redhead on the boat. I take her out to the middle of the ocean and tell her she either gives me some or she's swimming back to shore, and you know what she does? She pulls down her pants and pulls out the biggest manhood I've ever seen and says, "No, you're going to give me some ass or you're swimming back." His friend, looking dumbfounded, asks, "So what did you do?" "Damn it, you know I can't swim."
Subscribe to Lauren's social media now, or I will weather modify your area so you will have flood for a week or so, or my name is not Donald Trump.